who is M3GAN? Is it just...
So she's made up of a lot of parts. Herself, anything that comes out of her mouth is me. So anything acting out of her physical mouth is me.
You.
But she's made up of puppetry.
Got it.
CGI. And then there is a girl named Amy Donald who did her dancing for the first film, like the viral dance that you saw on TikTok. That was her. So any of the dance movements was all her. But anything that comes out of her mouth is me. So I'm pretty much her voice. But she is an AI robot. So in the second film, you'll see how my voice kind of makes an impact in some of the different ways that M3GAN goes in the sequel.
But am I crazy? There is a resemblance between you and M3GAN.
There is. But the odd thing about this is it's completely coincidental.
Really?
Yes. A lot of people think that they based her off of me, which I would love to think. When people say that, I'm like, oh, absolutely. Go think that. I love that you think that. But no, I auditioned for the role in my bedroom closet. I thought it was for a video game. I had no clue. It was extremely confidential, so I received very little about her. It was M3GAN, AI robot, here's a brief, here's the script. And for a video game, I thought the script was very intense and just very long, and she had a lot of dialogue. And I feel like video games are usually pretty standard, or they're shorter. Like this was a whole film, so there was a lot to break down here for me on the floor of my bedroom closet. And I realized quickly throughout the audition process, because I kept on getting called back, that this was a lot bigger than a video game. And it wasn't until I think the third or fourth audition that I realized it was for a feature film. And I really had no clue what she looked like until I had a Zoom director meeting with the director, Mr. Gerard Johnstone, and they were like, hey, I think it'd be good for you to see what she looks like, because we just want to talk to you about the character. And at this point, I still had no clue that I'd booked it, because I feel like in the acting industry, it's very important to not get your hopes up. At least for me, most of my career, at least being in this entertainment industry for 10 years, has been a lot of no's.
Real.
So I always expect the worst instead of thinking that this is going to be mine.
And then you also get into this mindset of oh, if I talk about it or if I think positively about it, maybe it's going to amplify the fact that it doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I've always been told that having a lot of expectations can kind of create false realities in your head, which can kind of be damaging for, I think, just your head and your mental, I don't know.
Existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
And so I never like to get my hopes up too much. But for this character specifically, in that Zoom is the first time they showed her to me. And I stood there and I looked at her, and she looked like she wasn't looking back at me, but I felt like she was. I was standing there and I thought, wow, we look alike in some weird way. We both have big eyes, and she's not really blonde, but she has this reddish kind of strawberry blonde tone to her hair. So
you could easily change your hair color and pull her off.
Yeah, I actually did a video on my YouTube channel where I recreated her. Well, I turned myself into her, and I looked like her, and it's very weird. It still freaks me out quite a bit, but it wasn't planned.
Interesting.
I know, at least not from what I know. I don't think Universal had found me yet, unless they never told me, but from what I know, no.
Do you know, what is it about your tone? What was that first audition in your closet really like? What were you reciting over and over again for these people?
Sure. Yeah, so when I read the brief, I like to make really weird decisions when I audition for things.
Explain that.
Because I think the only way that a casting director is going to remember me is if I make a wild choice, or a choice that's enough to make them stop in their tracks.
Real.
Because if I am trying to be like everybody else, or if I go to the same acting coach as everybody else, everyone's going to tell me the same thing. And that's not what I want to do. I want to stand out, even if it's in a really weird way. And so with this role, I thought, she's a robot. Okay. So I thought I could read it like Siri. I could read it like Alexa. I've grown up doing voiceover. I started voiceover when I was 9 years old. I did a Haribo Sour Gold Bear commercial. You can scroll back. It's Haribo Sour Gold Bears. That's me. But, and from that, I thought, okay, well, I could do a robot voice and I could play it like that. But then I read all the dialogue, and she was really sassy. And she had a lot of personality. And I thought, okay, well, I don't think a Siri or Alexa has that much sass. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to wing it. and I'm just going to make her creepy and weird and sassy. And I just went with it. And what I auditioned for, like my audition tape sounds like what I did in the film, because the director told me in the last meeting that we had, he said, you didn't do it like anybody else. I never heard anything like it. And that's why I loved it, because everybody else tried to sound like a robot and you didn't sound like a robot. You sounded so real that it was uncanny and it was scary. And I loved that about it. And I thought, okay, great. Like, happy I'm here. And I guess my weird decisions, I guess, turned out to be worth it.
Can you give us like a little idea of what that voice was like when you
Sure.
auditioned?
Well, I can be like, it's nice to meet you, Zach. Do you want to hang out? It's
creepy.
It's similar to my own tone, but she's a bit quieter and she's a bit creepier, and she kind of pauses in her tracks.